to ignore the fundamental differences between our two systems.
I'd call that a hardline speech. Joining us now, Curtis Ellis, former trade advisor to the Trump campaign. With a speech like that, where he laid it out against China, I don't see how you can get a long-term deal that restructures China's laws or economy.
Well, it's certainly in China's interest to restructure their economy. You cannot, we know, you, Stuart, we all know the virtues of capitalism and private property. It has produced the greatest wealth in the history of the world here in this country.
Sure.
And if China were to follow that playbook, they will do better in the long run than sticking to theft and state-owned enterprises and subsidies, which right now they're acting as a parasite on the rest of the world.
Yes, but can they completely reverse that? I mean, that's what President Trump wants. That's what Mike Pompeo wants.
Exactly.
Do you think that the Chinese will totally reverse their whole worldview, the organization of their economy, their behavior on the public and the world stage? They can reverse that?
It may take time. That's why the president is looking at a phase one deal. Well, I don't actually, let's look at it this way. Over 20 years, the United States companies invested in China, rebuilt their supply chains inside China. That took place over a period of 20, 30 years. So that's not that long a time in the grand scope of things. We can rebuild those supply chains back in the United States, and China can rebuild its economy. Look what happened in Taiwan. Look at the German economic miracle after World War II. These things can happen very quickly if people put their minds to it.
Yes, but you've got to get an agreement from a communist dictator that he's going to change his ways. Come on, Curtis. I mean, you think?
If we give them the proper incentives.
And what is the proper incentive?
Not letting them rip us off and continue to rip us off. And as Mike Pompeo said last night, we need to think anew about the People's Republic of China. We need to recognize that it is hostile to our values and our way of life, and we can't pretend that they are nice and that they behave the same way we do.
Okay, I've got 20 seconds left.
Yes.
You tell me, 5 years from now, has China radically changed its behavior?
5 years from now.
Yes, 5 years.
It will not have the influx of Western capitalism that has been propping it up and giving it every incentive to continue doing what it's doing now.
All right, that's a sort of a diplomatic answer, and you know it. All right, Curtis, thanks very much for joining us, sir. We'll see you again soon. Thank you. All right, check the Dow 30. We've still got a lot of red there. Yes, we do. In fact, the vast majority of the Dow 30 are in the red and down, and the Dow Industrials are down 73 points. Apple's Tim Cook says wearable health devices like the Apple Watch, a big part of Apple's future. And Google, as you may know, they've been thinking about buying Fitbit. Are these wearables just a fad? I'm going to call it health virtue signaling. Almost